Hello everyone, my name is Holly and we will be doing a reading exercise on mixed signals for outsourcing. And hello, MacGyver? Is that your name? And hello, is it Joaquin?
Joaquin, yeah,
Joaquin, okay. Joaquin. Okay, excellent. Where are you from, Joaquin?
from Argentina,
Argentina, awesome. Awesome. What time is it right now in Argentina?
in north of Argentina.
Yeah. What time is it? Is it
Ah,
9
here,
p.m.?
it's 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Awesome. Okay. So have you had a good day since your day is almost over?
My English is very low English.
Oh, okay. Have you had a good day?
Can I you speak Spanish or not?
No, I don't speak Spanish.
Ah,
No, I
okay.
speak Finnish. Speak Finnish and
Ah,
English.
okay, okay. Oh, so
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is intermediate class or
yeah,
principiants.
yeah. It is an intermediate class.
Okay, okay, okay. I leave it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Hello, MacGyver. Hello, Anna Carolina. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. And you?
Good. So have you had a good week so far?
Um, More or less. I am beat. I'm very tired.
Oh, are you? You're very tired.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can
and a bit
understand.
stressed.
Yeah, I understand. Completely understand. So, and MacGyver, can you speak? It looks like he's unable to speak. Okay. Yeah. So, are you going to get since tomorrow is Friday, and so it's the last day of the week, Anna Carlina, are you going to get a lot of rest this weekend? Or do you have
I
many plans for the weekend?
well, I will study English,
Uh-huh.
but I will also rest a little and do something fun.
Yeah. Okay, so you will do something fun and rest a little.
Yes. I hope that the weather will be sunny, and then I will
Uh-huh.
go sailing or do
Mhm.
something like that. But
Mhm.
one day I will rest. That's for
Okay.
sure because I'm very tired.
Uh-huh. I totally can understand that. Me too. Sabrina, how are you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
Very good. Remind me where you were from, Sabrina.
I'm from Brazil.
Brazil. Okay. Yeah, I just remember those glasses on that cat. It just kicks it makes me laugh every time I see your avatar. It's great. So
On Sunday.
so have you had a good week, uh, Sabrina?
Yes, I believe I worked
Yeah.
a lot, but it's good, I
Uh-huh.
think.
Oh, good.
And
So you
I
deserve the
study.
weekend.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Yeah, and I am not teaching on my this week. I'm not teaching on Friday or Saturday, so Saturday evening. So it feels like it's a
That's good.
um, a weekend. So and MacGyver, can you speak? No, it looks like we cannot hear you yet. Um, so I'm not sure why. All right. Well, to today's class, what we are going to do, it's an intermediate lesson and it's a reading. So we will do a reading and the vocabulary words and the meanings of this. Hello, Diana. How are you?
Hello, Holly. Fine. Sorry for stay too late.
Oh, no, you're totally fine. Everybody's coming. I usually don't ever get started until like 5 to 7 minutes after. Very rarely do I get started before that.
Okay, great.
So no problem. And what time is it right now in Colombia? Is it 6 or 7? Is it 6, 7, or 8?
7.
7. Okay. All right. And hello, Heidi. How are you today?
Hello, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. So what time is it in Japan right now?
Now 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Okay. I knew it was morning, but I wasn't sure how early. So
Many countries change that time, but in Japan, no, nothing. So
yeah.
always the same time.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of the European countries have not changed times yet. And so I think pretty much the American countries have pretty much been one of the only ones that has. So I don't know. Colombia, you don't change times, and Brazil, you guys have not yet, correct? Ana Carolina,
Here is
9.
correct.
that's correct, Sabrina. Okay. I
Sorry.
knew it was morning, but I wasn't sure how early. So
No, he's
I can
Many
hear
countries.
myself now. So, so anyway, okay, let's go ahead and look at this warm-up discussion. So first of all, what is outsourcing? Does anybody know what outsourcing is?
Yeah, to ask some another place to produce something.
Okay.
Well, in my opinion, an outsourcing is when a company hires another company to do something.
Yeah. And it could be production, like Heidi said, and it could be in another country, or it could be actually in the same country as well. But it's doing a specific, when a company hires another company to do something, it could be something like accounting, or it could be production, or a call center is outsourcing. So what kinds of services do companies outsource? So I already said 3. So hello, MacGyver. Can you speak now? You're muted now. So
Yes, sorry.
awesome. Yeah, welcome. Welcome. So
Thank-
MacGyver, where are you from? And am I saying
I'm-
your name right?
yes, I'm from Brazil.
Brazil. Okay. Awesome. Well, we have Sabrina here from Brazil and also Ana Carolina. We also have Heidi from Japan and Diana from Colombia. So welcome. And my name is Holly, and I am from the U.S., and specifically I'm living in Idaho right now. So,
Okay.
and it's 6 p.m. here in Idaho. So just getting started for the evening. So we're just talking about what is outsourcing, and we've just answered that question. What kinds of services do companies outsource? So Sabrina, can you think of a type of service the companies outsource?
yes. Sometimes they clean something. IT,
Yeah,
IT too.
cleaning. IT sometimes, yes. All right,
Yeah.
excellent. MacGyver, can you think of some activities that a company might outsource?
My company that work is IT and security is like IT. I don't know.
It's the
Food.
security, yeah.
Yeah.
Security and yeah, the restaurant services or the food services, definitely.
Logistics
Logistics,
for
okay.
events.
Thank you, Diana. So logistics, okay. And Heidi, can you think of any?
Yeah, for example, Japan, we have a lot of electronic appliance companies. Then outsourcing on China or Thailand, assembly. And
Okay, yeah, production, and assembly, basically. Yeah, and Anna Carolina, can you think of any?
Yes, teacher. Um, well, um, for example, an automobile manufacturers can have an outsourcing arrangement for the creation and installation of windows in their models.
Okay.
I don't know how to call it.
That would be production or assembly.
Okay, production or assembly.
Yeah.
It can be professional, as my classmate said, cleaning, security.
Mm-hmm. And yeah. And
Um,
anything else?
what else? Oh, teacher. Um, my gosh. Um, maybe uh, they can be specific to a unique processes or internal procedure.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think. Uh, they
Okay.
they they give you a lot of examples.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Another one that I can think of is accounting and
For
also
example,
human resources.
in Japan, we have a lot of animation, producing animations.
Uh-huh.
And they need to draw the pictures each scene. So
Uh-huh.
they are outsourcing in Korea,
Mhm.
South Korea.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And there's outsourcing. That would be considered production, but they're outsourcing to Korea. So they're actually outsourcing outside of the country. So
Mhm.
awesome. Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
in, in my company, there is a outsourcing of the facility, like change the modify the table or anyway other things.
uh-huh. So so they outsource the management of the facilities, so facilities management.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right. And I work for a company that is a call center outsourcing. They outsource a lot of. They're a company that does the outsourcing. So it's really kind of cool.
Yeah, there are a lot of call centers in Philippines.
Yes, the Philippines and um, Ireland is another place, and India is another one.
In
Yes.
Colombia, we have a lot of call centers too.
Do you have a lot of call centers in Colombia?
Yes.
Yeah. And from my understanding is, as somebody was telling me, in Spain, a lot of Spanish companies outsource down to South America. The
Yes,
Spanish
maybe the
language call
bank.
centers. Yeah,
Because the language.
yeah, yeah, because of the language. And I was kind of surprised about that when somebody said, yeah, that they outsourced down to South America, and then it dawned on me that it was because of the Spanish language. That totally makes sense. So and now yeah. So as far as the regions of the world, we said the Philippines. Philippines is known for it. India, then Ireland is known as well, and then Colombia, I guess, right?
I
China.
Um,
think Mexico,
is
because
Mexico?
yes, Netflix is the call center of Netflix is in the Mexico for American.
Oh, is it?
Yes,
Okay.
for American, South American. I
Mhm. Okay, that totally makes sense. And yeah, so in each, and I've also heard some Eastern European countries like Hungary and the Czech Republic and stuff like that also have gotten in on the outsourcing game. Poland, but I'm not really quite sure. So, um, so so let's go ahead and what we're going to do is we're going to read an article about this and then answer these questions and of course learn vocabulary words. That's the main purpose of this exercise. But so we've got some key words though in the article. We've got resemble, inflation, overheads, essential, genetic makeup, and staff turnover. So what we're going to do is we're going to match these words with their definition, and so I'll have each one of you guys read a definition, and then we'll match that. So Sabrina, could you read letter A?
A general continuous increase in price.
Prices. Remember when it's like this, prices. So that E is not silent in this respect.
Okay.
So okay, so what would that be?
Number two, inflation.
Yes. So a general and continuous increase in prices. Yeah. Is inflation high in your countries right now?
A lot.
Is it in Brazil? How,
Yes.
and how about in Japan, Heidi? Is inflation high in Japan?
Pardon?
Is inflation high in Japan right now? Or do you
Yes.
know the inflation rate?
Yeah.
It is? Okay. And how about in, Diana, how about in Colombia?
I think it's normal, but we have an economic process that can produce increase in inflation in the next
Mhm.
years possible.
Okay. All right. Um, all right. Excellent. And in the U.S., it looks like it's fairly high, but not as high as I thought it would be. So it's about 3% right now, if I'm reading this right. So, all right. So let's see.
Do you think
Actually,
it's right?
right now in 2014, it was actually below 1%. I read that wrong. And the U.S. right now does not have much inflation going on at all. So, all right. So let's go to letter B. Anna Carolina, can you read that one?
How often employees leave a company and are replaced by new people? Staff turnover.
Staff turnover. Now, in British English, there's another word that can be confused, especially when you're working with people from Europe who have studied British English, and that is the word turnover. Okay, so we have a staff turnover, which is what we talked about, and turnover. Now, normally we want to have a low turnover in this respect. However, with this other meaning of turnover, it actually means net sales. Net sales. And in that respect, we want to have a high turnover. I ran into this one of my first classes teaching in Finland back in '99. I was teaching at a telephone company, and I asked them to introduce their company. And they said to me, well, we have a really, really high turnover. And I thought they were talking about staff turnover, because in American English, we use the word net sales. We don't use turnover for finances. And I said, and that's a good thing? And they were like, oh, yeah, it's a very, very good thing. And so I learned as an American, as a native speaker, the difference between British English and American English. So we have turnover in British English, meaning net sales in American English. And so a lot of times when people talk about a turnover of a company, Americans will always be talking about staff turnover, and British will always be talking about finances. So be careful about this word, turnover. Does that make sense, everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Heidi. All right. And letter C. MacGyver, could you read that one?
The regular general costs of running a business, e.g., rent, heating, and electricity.
Very good. Now, that was good that you actually said the S here, but one of the things you need to, because there's no E here, we would say costs. Costs. So, yeah, so instead you said costus, so there's a little bit more. So,
Okay.
all right. So what would that be?
I don't know. Give me a second. Rating, electricity. Number one?
No, resemble would not. Resemble usually means the same. That it's you look like somebody. Like I have a twin sister and she resembles me for some reason. So that would be different. So any other guess?
Okay, give me a second. Overheads?
Yes.
Okay.
The overheads would be the general cost of running a business, e.g., rent, heating, and electricity. However, overhead has another meaning. So overhead is it is in cost, but it also, when you talk about an overhead, maybe an overhead transparency. Um, oh, the overhead transparency. And that is when you give a presentation. Back before we had PowerPoint, people would use overhead transparencies. And a lot of times, instead of just saying a transparency or overhead transparency, we will say it is an overhead. Let me show you what that is, just in case. Remember back in the day when we had these. This is called an overhead projector right here, and this is called an overhead transparency. So you have a company overhead, which is the cost of the business, but you also have overhead, meaning something like this. So, all right, let's go on to the next one. Diana, could you read letter D?
The way in which people are composed according to their genes. Genetic makeup.
Perfect. And there is no other meaning for that one. It's all the same. So, oops.
Yes.
So, all right. Letter E. Heidi, could you read that one?
To look like or be like something someone. Resemble.
Resemble, yes. Yeah, it's funny. My sister and I, we look a lot alike, and today we even did our hair the same. And I'm sure people, like, when we're together, they look and then they look again. So, two middle-aged ladies who resemble each other. So, all right. So something that is very important, of course, is essential. All right. Question for you. I was talking about this with one of my other students, and I have heard that as far as call centers, for example, call centers is a part of customer service. The person I talked to works with customer service, and he said that customer service is an essential part of a company. Do you think that the essential parts of a company should be outsourced? In your opinion, what do you think? Heidi, what do you think?
Many American credit companies have have been outsourcing in the Philippines because Filipinos are very kind and patient. So maybe it's better to ask Americans.
Okay. Well, I know Americans want American. The problem in the U.S. with the outsourcing call centers is there's a lot of Americans who need jobs, and they call a call center and find out that somebody in the Philippines who is making less than what they're making, or India, they're upset. So Americans don't like it. So, but anybody else have an opinion? Anna Carlina, what do you think? Should, as far as essential, should companies be outsourcing their essential functions in their business, like customer service?
Yes.
Or
In
accounting?
my eyes, yes. In my eyes, the customer representative service is the most important thing because if you keep your clients, faithful clients, you can save up money, and they can spread out they can spread out good advertisement,
Ah, okay.
and uh, it it must cost more to bring new clients than
Mhm.
keeping the keeping faithful clients, you know.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
if you leave a client upset, uh, the negative advertisement can be spread out quickly,
Mhm.
quicker. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
my English
Mhm.
is not good today. Quicker than good advertisement, in
Yeah.
my
So,
opinion.
uh-huh. So negative word of mouth.
Yes,
Yeah.
and also they can sue your company,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. All right. Thank you. All right. Let's go on. Bear with me a moment as I bring this. So what we're going to do is we're going to read the article on the Indian outsourcing industry and answer the following questions. So while we're reading this, look for new words that you do not know, and then also let's answer these questions. So the first one, um, just to save my voice, Anna, can you read this, number one?
Sure. What's the main reason why some companies want to close down their outsourcing operations in India?
Okay. Number two, Diana, can you read it?
I can.
What is reverse outsourcing?
Okay. And number three, Heidi, can you read it?
What is the cause of rising strength of India's currency?
Okay. And then number four, MacGyver.
How do Mindtree Consulting intend to reduce their costs?
Costs. Perfect. Okay, number
Costs.
costs, yeah. Sabrina, can you read number five?
Okay. Why is the India outsourcing industry still growing despite wage increases?
Okay, so try to remember it's Indian. So try to pronounce the N here. Indian. Okay,
Indian.
yeah, good. Number six, Anna Carolina.
In which sector is there a sharp growth in wages?
Okay, number seven, Diana.
In which sector are Indian wages much lower than in the West?
Okay, and number eight, Heidi.
Which human resources program to Indian call center operations have to deal with?
Okay, and then MacGyver, number nine.
What outside threat is the Indian outsourcing industry facing?
And then number 10, Sabrina.
What characteristic of Indian people gives the Indian outsourcing industry a competitive advantage according to the chief executive of Mindstreet IT Services?
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So what we're going to do, so we're going to look for these answers while we read these. So mixed signals for outsourcing. So wages in the Indian IT sector are starting to resemble those in the West. Some companies are bringing the jobs back home. So what we're going to do is have each one of you read a paragraph, and so um, so let's start with Sabrina. Why don't you read number one?
There have been
Confusing.
confusing,
Uh-huh.
uh, one moment, okay, confusing messages in recent weeks, which suggest that the outsourcing boom in India has reached a peak and that the financial benefits of outsourcing work to the country may be coming to an end.
Okay. Thank you. Now this one right here, reached. In this respect, because it's a CH right there, we would actually pronounce this as a T. So we wouldn't use the E and we wouldn't do the D. It's a reached. So
Reached.
in India has reached a peak. Okay. All right. Thank you. Number two, Anna Carolina, can you read that one?
Yes. The search engine company like.com recently announced it, sorry, recently announced It was closing its Indian engineering site and transferring jobs back to the US because wages in Bangalore
Bangalore?
Bangalore had simply become too high. The company's chief executive, Mr. Shah, said, Bangalore wages have been growing like crazy. Just before the announcement, one of his Bangalore engineers could earn 75% of the US salary. 2 years earlier, the same engineer had been earning 20% of the American salary.
Yeah, I think you are tired, Anna. So,
I'm sorry,
no, no,
Peter.
no problem, no problem. Yeah, I'm going to go over these pronunciation issues because it's very typical of a lot of people. So remember this one, announced. Oh, this is a T as well. So announced, because it's an
Okay,
S sound, announced.
announced.
And then also remember, and this is just for feedback for everybody. When I give feedback to one person, it's actually for everybody to benefit from. So simply. So when you have a Y at the end, it's usually always stressed. Simply.
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 And there was another one. I think it was earlier, but I'm not sure. Okay, so but these two words definitely announced. So with an S sound, a sh sound, an S sound, a P or a K, it's a T sound at the end when you have it past tense ed.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
announced simply earlier.
perfect, perfect. All right. And MacGyver, could you read number 3?
Okay. In Britain, the Indian government estimates that there are 500 jobs that have been created by reverse outsourcing or inward investment from India. All are in e-commerce and software. One comedian made a joke about middle-class Indians from Bombay dialing a call centre in Scotland to book a train ticket to
Delhi.
Delhi, and complaining that they cannot understand the Scotch accent. When will this joke become reality?
Real. Okay, so let's look over some pronunciation here too. So, excuse me, you guys. I just have this lingering cough. It's terrible. So when will this joke become reality? So
Reality.
reality. Okay,
Okay.
and also instead of 500 jobs, it was 5,000 jobs right
Oh.
here. And also right here, this is a call center. This is a British English. They pronounce it the same as center, but it's centre. So I mean, it is spelled like centre, but it's pronounced center. So
Oh. Okay.
okay, so that's just British English. All right, and then Bombay. Does everybody understand this? One comedian made a joke about middle-class Indians from Bombay dialing a call center in Scotland to book a train ticket to Delhi, and then complaining that they cannot understand the Scottish accent. Do you guys understand this at all?
No.
I believe
Okay.
because it's difficult to you want to buy something from Scotland, but you need to speak to people from other country, and you don't understand the accent because you expect Scotland accent, and you see all.
Exactly. There's a joke in the English-speaking world that when you call a call center, you will always get an Indian or a Filipino, and you cannot you cannot understand them. And so that's the joke, that you can't understand them. So they kind of turned it around because for the English-speaking people, the most difficult accent to understand is Scottish. So the joke is that people from India will be calling a call center, and about something in India, but they get somebody from Scotland. So, excuse me. And so it's basically turned completely around. So it's pretty funny, but you have to know that the English people, that as in English speakers, are always complaining about the Indian accent and that they don't understand the Indian accent. So
But I believe nobody understands. It's
the Indian
difficult
accent.
for us to.
The Indians understand the Indian accent. So, and I understand that. For me, the Nigerian accent is the most difficult to understand. Has anybody ever worked with Nigerians in English? It's very difficult, in my opinion. So, all right.
Yeah, I have a lot of colleagues that India and Malaysian.
Uh-huh.
It's very difficult to understand the
Yeah. Yeah, and what's interesting is once you start really spending time with somebody who has a difficult accent, you start to understand them after eventually, and then you don't hear it anymore. So I remember when I was teaching at a big corporation, one of my students weekly would say, "Holly, will you help me practice to understand the Indian accent?" And I said, the best way for you to do that is to go down to the cafeteria during lunch, sit at a table with the Indian guys who had come over to work, and you will understand them with no problem. So, but he was too shy to do that. So,
yeah.
which I totally understand that too. Okay, so number 4, and Diana, have you read yet? I don't think you have. So,
No.
okay.
The fourth one?
Yeah, number 4.
Um, Wage inflation, together with the rising strength of the Indian rupee caused by an economic growth rate of 9%, is certainly changing the way that Indian IT companies think about doing business and how to present their services. It is no longer possible to only provide a service to Western clients that is simply cheaper. According to Krishna Kumar Natarajan, the president of IT services for Mindtree Consulting, an international IT consulting company headquartered in Bangalore. Quality and expertise have become essential now. A key challenge is that costs keep going up, he said. He says that one solution oh,
I moved
was
it up.
to how to reduce overheads by concentrating people and operations, something that is easier for larger companies.
Thanks, Sabrina, for coming. See you later. Okay. All right. Thank you, Diana. Let's go over again some of these mispronunciations. What is very common? This one right here, we would say expertise.
Expertise.
Yeah. So pretend like that I isn't there, and this is a correct E. Expertise. Okay. And also, just like a couple other people in the class today, service says. So when you have a C here, an E and S, it's a says. Says.
Services.
So, services. Perfect. All right. So. All right. So number 5. MacGyver, could you read number 5?
Okay. Industry bodies are certainly confident about the future, despite rising salaries and property costs. The National Association of Software and Service Companies, NASSCOM, reported recently that the industry grew by 30.7% in the last financial year and that revenues increased to just under 40 40 billion. Yes, it's billion.
Yeah,
Billion.
billion. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. $40 billion, yes. Okay, so let's talk about these two words right here. Okay, this word is about the future. So we say future. And this also is despite. So future despite rising salaries. Okay,
Despite.
despite, yeah. All right, and Anna Carolina, since you like to read, I'm going to let Diana read number 6, and I'll have you read number 7 and 8. Is that okay? And so, Diana, could you read number 6?
So how is the industry managing this? Partly it is the result of remaining price competitive. Despite the headlines on the talk of rising salaries, wages here remain considerably lower, especially for entry-level employees, than the US. In India, starting salaries in the IT industry begin at about 10,000, above one-sixth of the equivalent salary in the US.
Yeah, so equivalent. Equivalent.
Equivalent?
Yeah, equivalent. Okay, excellent. Thank you. All right, Anna Carolina, number 7 and 8, if you could.
Okay. In addition, the sharp growth in Indian wages has been mostly limited to the IT sector. In other areas, such as call center operations, wages are still considerably lower than in the West. One challenge that companies are having to deal with in these areas, however, is the high staff turnover. And another threat India faces is from international competition, mainly from its neighbor and strategic and economic rival, China, but also from new outsourcing centers such as Russia and Dubai and even Egypt.
Okay, so let's quickly do this word right here. Strategic is how we pronounce it.
Okay,
Strategic.
strategic.
Perfect. All right, number 8.
Mr. I don't know,
Natarajan, I guess.
Natarajan. Okay, Mr. Natarajan and others remain confident that India will be able to deal with such challenges. He even said that there may be something in genetic makeup of his country's citizens that gives them an advantage over their rivals. Indians tend to be very good at serving people. We are service-oriented, he said.
All right. So this last sentence, do you guys agree? Indians tend to be very good at serving people. We are service oriented. Do you think that's true for the Indians that you have met?
I believe it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Because here in Brazil, here's high Indians.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, they are very workaholic and driven, I guess.
And I know the Indians I've met. I've got one of my best friends is from Bangalore, and we've known each other now for more than 20 years, and um, he is one of the most friendly people I've ever met. So, Diana, what is your experience? Would you say that this person is right, that Indians tend to be very good at serving people?
But I don't know Indian people,
Uh-huh.
but I know I have friends working in Bangkok,
Mm-hmm.
and I heard some about that, about the growing in the cost of, for example, call centers,
Uh-huh.
the companies in Latin America,
Mm-hmm.
and the banks move that points to another countries for that. I don't know why, but I think it's for the specialization of the people, and the costs are increasing with the time. But
Mm-hmm.
in one time, the that cost reach a high level, a peak,
Mm-hmm.
and the tendencies to change the points of that services.
Yeah, and I think the call center world is really changing a lot too. So, question for you, again, Diana, as far as call centers, since you know a little bit about them in Colombia, it says in here that the one of the problems that the um, call center has in India is a high staff turnover. Do you know about the call centers in India? Is it the same?
Yes, I think that because here in Colombia we have a big problem of, I don't know how to say it, sorry,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
unemployment.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes the companies change continuously people for obtain people with low cost than other people who is working in this moment.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. In Idaho, where I live, we are also a call center area. We have uh, enough call centers that if people just train jumped, they went from one training to the other, they could be employed for 3 years. So,
Wow.
and that is if they just went through training and then quit. And so, um, and we have a high total high turnover because they do the call center jumping. They jump from one call center to the other. They hear about a call center that pays a little bit more or has better benefits or something like that. So, um, MacGyver, what is your experience with Indians? Would you say that this is true that Indians tend to be very good at serving people? We are service oriented.
Okay. My experience, I working with IT, and
Uh huh.
my company have a lot of the employee in India, in Malaysian, as I
Mhm.
told.
Oh yeah.
But yes, I, I believe that they works very well. But the problem that I see that when you ask for them to do something that they was seeing that is wrong, did they did is wrong. They don't speak for us. For example, that it is wrong. You need to verify something. Uh,
Mm.
but like Brazilian, for example, if you we see that there are something wrong, you speak with the director or manager to understand why they asking for us to do this way. But
Mhm.
I see that the Indian don't did it.
Mhm. So in your experience with that culture, they're not as straightforward as the Brazilians. And they don't see the mistakes. Is that
Yep, yep.
yeah.
I think that they do that. You ask for us for them.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah, because I know that Indians, as far as IT, they're all over the world. You know, Indians
yeah.
and then Chinese as well. A lot of Chinese folks have moved over. So, all right. So let's see if we can answer these questions up here. So, okay, for number one, what is the main reason why some companies want to close down their outsourcing operations in India? So, MacGyver, do you remember that answer?
Because of the salary.
Yeah, absolutely. The the salary has gone through the roof for IT. So,
Yes.
so yeah. So India, basically, I'll just go ahead and we'll write it this way. the salary is a good answer. Indian wages are increasing. So, all right. So number 2, Diana, what is reverse outsourcing?
I didn't understand very well that idea, but I think it's the outsourcing um, in countries like US having other companies come back to US for the high cost. I
Yes.
think.
That is basically what it is. It's basically it's when outsourcing jobs are created in countries in the West for countries based in traditional outsourcing regions such as India. So a company in India outsources to Scotland or to the U.S. or something like that. So, yes, exactly. All right, number 3, Anna, Carolina, what is the cause of the rising strength of India's currency? Do you remember?
Oh my gosh. Teacher, can I take a look
Sure,
quickly?
sure.
I'm
And I'll,
sorry, I am tired today.
no, I know, no worries.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Let's see if we can help you find it.
Okay, I found.
Okay.
Scroll down a bit. No, down. Um, because of the economic growth.
Yes. Yeah, so an economic growth rate of 9%. Perfect. Perfect. All
Okay,
right.
sorry.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all. We're all very tired. Um, I had a class earlier this week that people were asking me questions. I think you were in it, Anna Carolina, and I was so tired I wasn't answering the questions right. Um, so I totally understand that. So an economic growth of 9%. So, all right, MacGyver. Oh, how do Mindtree Consulting tend to reduce their cost?
Okay, let me see here. One solution was reduce overhead by concentrating people in the operations.
Okay. Yeah, so by concentrating people and operations. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. And then number 5, Diana, why is the Indian outsourcing industry still growing despite wage increases?
For the specialization, expertise of the people, no?
Um,
Or another one?
um, well, it's actually okay. This doesn't show it. Let's go ahead and find someplace else.
Yes, in the fourth paragraph, they said that the quality and expertise have become essential now, and there is a key challenge is that costs keep going up. Isn't that?
Because I'm sorry. Say that again. In what chat? What paragraph?
The fourth paragraph.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, the costs keep going up. Quality and expertise have now become essential. A key challenge is that costs keep going up. Okay. The question is, and why is the Indian outsourcing industry still growing despite wage increases? Okay. Actually, let me give you the answer here. Bear with me a moment. And this is because wages still remain considerably lower than in the West, especially for entry-level employees.
Okay.
So it's still happening because there's a high enough inflation in the West that oh, wow, we're almost done. The time, I just looked at the time. I went, wait a minute. So, but there's a high enough inflation in the West that it's still lower than in the West. So, okay. Excellent. Okay, number 6. In which sector is there a sharp growth in wages? So Anna Carolina, do you remember that?
In IT.
Yes, the IT sector. Perfect. Okay, number 7, MacGyver. In which sector are Indian wages much lower than in the West?
Call center.
Yeah, call centers. And I think that's why Americans have such a hard time when they get somebody with an Indian accent or a Filipino accent, because they're like, we have people unemployed here and you're taking our jobs. So call center operations. Okay, which human resource problem do Indian call center operations have to deal with? Anna Carly, Diana, do you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay, does anybody remember?
No, and it's in the.
It's a real common one. It's the one that here in Idaho we also have to run it over. We actually talked about it. High staff turnover. So
Okay.
yeah, people quitting and moving to another call center. So what outside threat is the Indian outsourcing industry facing? Does anybody remember that one?
The international competition.
Mm-hmm.
Competitors such as China and Russia, Dubai, Egypt.
Exactly. So international competition, perfect. And the last question. What characteristics of Indian people give the Indian outsourcing industry a competitive advantage, according to the chief executive of Mindtree's IT services?
This is the quality
They
and
are,
expertise.
yes, they
Quality and
are good
yeah,
serving people.
but it's actually Diana. It's this one. They are service oriented by
Okay.
nature, but also quality and expertise as well is another definitely another reason. That's why they're hired and they're in Brazil and they're in Finland and the U.S. and all over because they have the quality and the expertise as well. So absolutely. So, all right, you guys did a great job. I hope this was interesting for you as well, and that you learned some new pronunciations of some words and so forth. I would suggest that go ahead and if you haven't already, downloaded the worksheet. Yeah, this class was difficult, Anna Carolina, because it's not a topic that is an everyday topic. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so if you go ahead and I would encourage you, if you can, to download the worksheet right here, so that you can look at it. And there's also some grammar towards the end. So, so if you need the answers as well, just send me a message. So.
I will join your next class.
Oh, good. I think that next class is much easier because this one is for intermediate and upper intermediate, and the other one's for high beginner, lower intermediate. So it'll be much, much easier. So, all right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
But you're
Okay.
cute, Ana Carolina.
Excuse me.